Commander Vexthal's mandibles clicked in amusement as he observed the pathetic display through his ship's viewing portal. Below, on the dusty plains of Kepler 442b, a mere handful of bipedal creatures had arranged themselves in what appeared to be a defensive formation. The Zephyrian war fleet, consisting of over 300 vessels and 500,000 elite warriors, hung in the planet's atmosphere like metallic storm clouds. 47, announced his tactical officer, Croth, her voice dripping with disdain. That's all they've mustered for their final stand. The bridge erupted in chittering laughter. Vexthal had conquered 17 star systems in his illustrious career, crushing armies numbering in the millions. The largest resistance force he'd previously encountered consisted of 200,000 Centaurian shock troops, and even they had fallen within 3 rotations. This was insulting. Perhaps they're offering themselves as a ceremonial sacrifice, suggested his weapons officer, tentacles writhing with glee. How quaint. Vexthal studied the small group more carefully. They wore simple uniforms of mottled green and brown, carried what appeared to be primitive projectile weapons, and had taken positions behind makeshift barriers of local stone and metal debris. Their formation was tight, disciplined, but laughably inadequate against the firepower now trained upon them. Open communications, he commanded. Let's hear what these specimens have to say before we vaporize them. The transmission crackled to life, and a gruff voice filled the bridge. This is Captain Rodriguez of the United Earth Colonial Defense Force. You are in violation of Earth territorial space. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The laughter grew louder. Croth was practically convulsing with mirth. Consequences? From 47 primitives with metal sticks. But something in the captain's voice gave Vexthal pause. There was no fear, no desperation. Just cold, professional certainty. He'd heard that tone before, from the most dangerous opponents he'd faced. What species are you? Vexthal demanded. Human, came the simple reply. The laughter died instantly. Croth's tactical display flickered as she frantically accessed the galactic database. Her chromatic skin shifted from amusement blue to alarm crimson as the data populated her screens. Commander, she whispered. They're from Sol 3. Vexthal's blood chilled. Every military commander in the galaxy knew the stories, whispered in the darkest corners of space stations, shared among veterans who'd survived encounters with the impossible. Humans didn't fight like other species. They didn't surrender when outnumbered. They didn't break when facing certain death. The Thermopylae incident, Croth continued reading, her voice trembling. 300 humans held off 500,000 Xerian battle drones for 7 days. The siege of Luna Station, 42 human defenders against an entire Krillian armada. They won. Below, Captain Rodriguez's voice crackled again. You have 30 seconds to begin withdrawal. Vexthal's tactical mind raced. Humans were known for their catastrophic military innovations, their refusal to acknowledge impossible odds, their tendency to turn desperate last stands into legendary victories. But 47? Even for humans, surely 47 couldn't. Commander! Croth's voice was now panic-stricken. Long-range sensors are detecting massive energy signatures approaching from the outer system. Multiple ships, unknown configuration, moving at impossible speeds. How many? I can't get an accurate count. The energy displacement is off the charts. On the surface, one of the humans raised what appeared to be a small communication device. Captain Rodriguez's voice filled the bridge one final time. Cavalry's here, boys. Light 'em up. The sky exploded into brilliant light as the human fleet dropped out of hyperspace. Ships of designs Vexthal had never seen, moving with predatory grace, immediately began systematic annihilation of his outer vessels. But it wasn't just the ships. It was the realization that 47 humans had stood calmly on an open plain, outnumbered 10,000 to 1, because they knew reinforcements were coming. They hadn't been making a desperate last stand. They'd been buying time. They'd been bait. As his flagship shields failed under the brutal human assault, Vexthal's last coherent thought was a grudging respect for the species that had just taught him the most expensive lesson of his career. Never underestimate a human army, no matter how small. The laughter had stopped permanently.